guys, it's Alex from Alex's Creative Corner. This is part 2 out of 3 for the Rainbow Loom mini silk, or not silk, SeaWing tutorial. I'm making Auklet in the tutorial, and by the beginning of this you should have made both wings from part 1, both front legs, both back legs, and the head, neck, and fin. Now in this part, we will be making the body. So I'll show you what to do. So taking the solar green, this one, double looping it, I'm going on the side pegs, and now with 2 bands at a time, 2 dark greens, going down twice, and then going down diagonally to the center, and then taking 2 of the solar green, and then 2 dark green going down twice. So it's a pattern. 2 dark green going down twice, then 2 solar. 2 dark green twice, solar once, dark green twice, like that. And then in the middle, 2 at a time of the Persian peridot, all the way down. Now, we're going to put down some holding bands. Some of them, I'm going to do a dark green there. I'm just wrapping a band around twice, then I'll pull it across. It's a double loop. Dark green there, and then I'll just do a solar here. Dark green, solar, dark green, solar, and then a dark green right here. We're gonna get our head and neck, turn it over so it's, turn it over so it's right side up. Lift up the fin. We're gonna go through these 3 ends that are tied off, not the fin bands, but the ones at the base of the neck are going to go into these 3 pegs. So this edge set, go through it, take off the tying band, attach it into that peg. Now I'm going to go through the middle set, make sure it's not a fin set that you're going through. Attach it onto that peg. Make sure that you grab that you go through the bands and you do not go in between them. I've made that mistake before. And then this last side set, taking off the tying band and attaching it onto that peg. You can move the fin out of the way to the best of your ability. Oh, I forgot to pull across the holding bands. I'm pulling across those double loops. So now what we are going to do is first lift up the top 2 bands from each of the sets that we just attached. So top 2 from that peg, the top 2 bands from that peg, and the top 2 from this peg. If you have 2 hooks, use one of them to hold them. If you don't have 2 hooks, you can use a pencil, a toothpick, a holding hook, something like that. So I'm just going to leave it right there. We're going to take a double looped dark green band across those 3, and we're going to attach the wings, but we're going to leave these on this hook for the time being. So I'm going to get a wing so it goes onto this side and it looks like this. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to go down into this first set. It's the dark green. and it has those spots on it with the Persian peridot. So I went down into the set. Now I'm going to grab this holding band, pull it through the set, the holding band that we just placed down, and then I'm going to replace the holding band onto that peg. I'll zoom in so you can see what it looks like. Now the first set of the wing is just on the holding band right here, but I replaced the holding band back so it's on these 3 pegs. So I'm going to zoom out. We're going to do the next sets, so go through the second set in the wing. It's lime green, so I'm going to go through the second set. Lift up this second holding band, pull it through the set, and put it onto the peg, just like we did with the first set. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the third set of bands. Gotta get that tying band off. Okay, now lift up that holding band, pull it through and put it onto that peg. Just like we've been doing, and then this last one, exactly the same, but just on the next holding band. So there's your wing attached. We're going to do the same thing on the other side for the other wing. So make it so it goes like this, then flip it over, go down into the first set, which is the dark green, the 4 dark green loops. Make sure you go through all 4 loops. Taking off the tying band, grabbing this same holding band, the most recent one that we put down, pulling it through and putting it back onto that peg, like that. So the wings are going to be like sharing holding bands. Each wing is using the same one, or each set from each wing. It's hard to explain, but just follow me. Going through the second set, taking off the tying band, lifting up the next holding band, pulling it through, and replacing it onto that peg. Third set, taking off the tying band, going into the third holding bands set, and put it onto that peg. Final set, going down into it, taking off the tying band, and stretching over to this holding band and putting it back onto the peg. So now you have both wings attached onto there. And before we put these 3 sets of 2 back on, we need to attach the front legs. So leave them on this hook or toothpick or pencil, whatever you have here, holding those bands. Leave it like that for now. So we're going to take our front legs. So excuse me. So make sure that they're facing like this, so the elbow is facing that way, and then the thumb has to be facing down on both sides, and all these like spots and stuff are facing upwards. So first I'm going to go in this leg, make sure it looks like this, going through the first set, go through all 4 loops, take off the tying band, attach it onto the first corner peg. Now go into the second set, take off the tying band, and attach all 4 loops onto this next peg and line. So first goes there, second set goes there. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So go through the first set on your other front leg, take off the tying band, put it onto this first corner peg, go into the second set, take off the tying band, put it onto this peg, the second peg. So so the legs are exactly the same, parallel. So we have these 3 sets of 2 loops. We're going to replace them. So these 2 at the end of my hook, I'll zoom in a little bit. So these 2 loops at the end of my hook, which are these solar bands, I'm going to put those onto this corner peg. That's where we got them from. Just replacing all of these loops to where we got them from. So these middle 2 go onto that peg, and then these last 2, oh, this came off. And then these last 2 side bands go onto this side peg, like that. And now we can, let me just check my prototype. We can loom up a few times. Just follow me. I think it might be 4 times. So here's 1, grabbing the very bottom 2 bands and looming them up. Grab the very bottom 2, loom them up. Very bottom 2, loom them up. So stop there, onto that 4th peg. We're going to loom up on the 4th peg on the other side too. So dig down under everything and loom up the bottom 2 bands, dark green. Loom up the bottom 2 again. Loom up the bottom 2. This time it's those solar bands. And now we're going to attach the back legs. So get both of your back legs. Sorry, something was falling off. So here's one back leg. It should look like this. Make sure that this like back thumb toe, I don't know what to call it, is facing, oh, sorry, got out of frame. This back thumb toe is facing like that way, back away from the head, and it just looks like this. And then these spots are facing upwards. That's what it's going to look like when you're putting it onto this peg. And then the knee is facing that way. So going through the first set of 4 loops, we're going to be attaching it onto this peg, the 5th peg. So putting all 4 loops onto the 5th peg. Now go into the second set of your leg, take off the tying band, and put it onto the next peg, which is the 6th peg. Now going through, same thing with the other leg on the other side. So going through the first set, it's the one with the loops on it, I think, the spots. So I'm putting it onto the 5th peg on this side. Go through the second set. Take off the tying band. And put it onto this peg. So back legs are attached. We can loom this up until we get to this peg, the 4th peg from the bottom. Loom up till there on both sides. So looming up, just grabbing the bottom 2, going under everything, and loom them up. Do not loom the holding bands. They're not meant to be loomed. Looming the other side now. Like that. Now we are going to be attaching the fin that goes in the middle. We're going to be attaching it some more. You have your fin. Turn it over so it's like this, so these spikes are facing towards you, and go down into these 4 loops of the next set, which is neon green. and then go down into the first middle peg. Grab the, you want to dig down until you grab the bottom 2 bands. So I'm going to dig down and pull them through that set, that was on the neon green set, and loom it over so that it's just on there. Flip over your fin, then go down into the next set, which is Persian peridot. Take off the tying band. We did this on the neck, so you should remember it. So all 4 loops on your hook, go down into this peg, loom up the 2 bands, slide it through. Sorry guys that the video cut out. They've been cutting out a lot lately. But I'm just gonna continue. I didn't really do anything off camera. I'm just gonna continue. So flipping it over, going down into the 4 loops of neon green, dig down, loom up those 2, pull them through the set, and loom over. Twist. Twist it. Go into the next set, which is the Persian peridot. Take off the tying band, dig down, loom up, pull through, loom over. Flip it over again. Go into the neon set, dig down, loom up, pull through, loom over. Flip it over, going down into the Persian peridot. Take off the tying band, go down, loom up, pull through. Sorry if it seems like I'm going slow. I'm just tired. And loom it. Flip it over again with the neon side, looming it. It's going to start to get a little tight and stretched, so I'm going to start to take it off the loom, but not all the way. I'm just going to take it off a little bit to release some tension. So I'm pulling on that set and looming it over. So I'm going to stop there and gently take it off the loom, not all the way, just a few sets. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Be a little looser. Now we're going to do the same thing pretty much, except going through the same set that I would of the neon green, and I'm just going to put it onto this peg. Actually, no, I'm going to do it a bit differently. So I have it, I'm not twisting it or anything. I'm going to flip it over completely, go from the bottom to the top. So it's like that. Flip it over, go into here, lift up all 4 loops. I actually don't. You can put those 4 loops back. Loom up the top 2, pull them through, loom them to where they're, actually don't do that, sorry. I don't know what I was just doing. Do the same thing that you would normally do. Going through the side, loom up the top 2, pull them through, and loom them where they're supposed to go. Go back in there this time, and loom up the next 2 that are left. Loom them normally. So I'm going to flip it over again. Sorry if this is a bit confusing. Going down into the Persian peridot set. Take off the tying band. So now I'm going to go into this set, loom up these top two, and then leaving it on my hook, I'm going to go to the next set over here, looming up the top two. So I have 4 loops on my hook. Pull them through the set that was on your hook of the Persian peridot, and the bottom 2 loops go onto that peg, and top 2 go into that peg. That's how I usually attach the spikes. So twist it over, going down into the green on the next set, and doing the same thing. So going in here, looming up these 2, then going into here, looming up these 2, pull them all through, and then the bottom 2 go there, and then the top 2 go there. We're gonna do the same thing, flip it over and do it with the peridot. I think it's easier when you're doing it with the peridot set, because that's the one that is just like the actual tied off one. It's more like a spike. So pulling it through, bottom 2 go over to there, top 2 go there. I'm gonna tie off the ends with 2 random bands. Now I'm going to take this off the loom. So here's the main body part. Now we need to do the rest of the tail. It's pretty much the same thing, but it's just like a lot smaller. So I'll tell you what to do. Going from the 3rd set from the bottom, double loop a dark green, then double loop a solar green, and then double loop a dark green, double loop another dark green, double loop a solar green. Take 3 dark green, then 3 dark green, then 3 solar green, double loop a dark green diagonally that way, then that way, and then that way, then diagonally down both sides. We're going to attach our 2 ends of our little stump tail that we just finished. So taking off that tying band, putting it onto this peg, and then make sure it's right side up, and then go through the other tying band, taking off the tying band, put those 4 loops onto that peg. I'm going to lift up the top 2 here, and then the top 2 here, from both of those sets that we just attached. I'm going to double loop a dark green right here and right here, and I'm going to replace those both sets of 2 loops that we just took. So those 2 go there, and then these 2 go. That took a second. So now we're going to just continue attaching the fin the same way. So going through the neon sets, looming up these 2 diagonal, then going over here and looming up these 2 diagonal, pull them both through. Bottom 2 go to that peg, top 2 go to that peg. Same thing, but with the Persian peridot now. So go down into it, take off the tying band, go into this set first, loom up those 2, then go over to this set, loom up these 2, pull them through the Persian peridot set, those loops onto the next peg. Like that. Now we can attach more normally, so going down into the neon green, dig down, loom up the 3 solar green, pulling them through and looming them over. I'm gonna take off this part to release some tension so that it's not too tight. So I'm gonna continue. Now I'm going into the peridot, down into it, taking off the tying band, loom up the 3 dark green, pull them through, loom them over, go down into the neon green, loom up the 3 dark green, pull them through, loom them over. And again, this time going down with the Persian peridot. I might have a few extra sets there, so I'm looming that up. It's a double loop now, and pulling it through, looming it over, flipping it over, going down through the neon loops, loom up, pull through, loom over, flip it over. Now go through the Persian peridot loops, take off the tying band, dig down here, loom up, pull through, and loom over. And then let me see how many sets there are left. I think I only have 1 set left. So going in through that, this is the neon green set that has the tying band, so it's the last one. Going down here, looming up, sliding it through and looming over. So I guess I had oh yeah, and then loom up the last one. I'm going to tie it off with a dark green band. So tie that off with dark green band. I'm going to take this off the loom. So we've finished the body. You can pull this back into the tail, just like weave it through, so you can hide that loose band that was just like dangling there. Once you can't see it anymore. So we finished the body and the tail and everything. So now is where you wire it. I have a tutorial on how to wire your dragon. It might appear on the screen somewhere near the end of this video. And you could press on that if you don't know how to wire it. Use 20 gauge wire, because this is small. You don't want to use anything thicker than that. And I hope yours came out okay so far. So we're going to wire it, and then in the final part 3, we will be making and attaching the belly. And it'll have a little fin on it. Not even close to as big as this. It'll only be like that big. So yeah, hope yours is coming out as good as mine, and this isn't too hard. Thanks for watching. You'll see my hands in part 3. Bye.